I was just a little shocked when I got the bill, so I thought I'd come in. I've never done this before,
Sure.
so I don't mean any disrespect.
No, sure.
You know, I just trying to figure this out. And when you were there with Paul, what was your first name again?
Ben Thompson.
Ben.
Yeah.
When you was with Paul, I invited you guys in, and when I first took on the project, it's gonna be my retirement home someday. And I just had barely enough to get the shell up. And I was surprised I got the shell up, and I got my occupancy. I got the occupancy because I didn't want to keep renewing it. So I worked with the inspector, and he's a great guy. You know, Brian was great, this guy's great. You know, everybody's been working with me, the state, everybody. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking for that other stuff too.
Yep. Thank you.
I just kind of wanted to come in and try to figure it out, because I know the taxes never go down. They always go
Amen.
up. So I just, I don't have as much as you say into the building. You got me like 131,000. I'm not even close to 100,000 in my materials, and if I even counted my own labor, you know. So I'm kind of scratching my head on that. And I didn't bring my camera in, but as the house stands now, the electrical and the plumbing is done. I haven't got any doors in, no floors. I got Advantech countertops for kitchen with the old sink I ripped out of my trailer. I've got all the appliances from my old trailer. It's a camp, and it's probably gonna stay a camp until I get some more money.
Yeah.
So that's basically where I'm at.
Well, when
The outside is done, so it looks great outside.
I was there with you when we had the discussion there in the driveway, we had talked,
Yes.
and you had told me what was done, what wasn't at the time with Paul Filbert.
Yeah.
And so I had asked you at the time if you felt you were at 80% finished.
I figured
And you said yes.
85 toward occupancy,
Okay.
not to the house. That's where we kind of,
Yeah. So that's where the 80% is coming in right there.
I see.
I got one question as far as where we ended up. What's the 100% gonna be? That's what I just asked Sue, and I don't have it memorized. We
when
look at so
the
many
100%
properties.
is gonna be.
Yeah, what it's
done.
gonna, because you're only at 80% of the value right now,
Yeah.
because you're not finished. You know, is where, because you didn't have occupancy, I don't believe at the time.
I didn't. I just got that like within a month or so ago.
That so April 1st this coming year, we'll relook at it. You know, now that you're in you got your occupancy done.
Yeah.
You know, there's 10 different phases to building a house, building a structure. You know, foundation, roof. There's different your exterior. You know, different things like that basically come to a complete house. And these are things we look at when we assess, or should be. I personally have one question right now: how you landed at 125? You know, 6,000 of that is 2 garage doors right now in town. Whether I agree with it or not, you know, every other house out there is $3,000 for a garage door, unless it's commercial. So that's where you got 6,000 of this 131 is coming from the 2 garage doors.
That.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Yeah.
so that
the
puts.
room upstairs is going to be unfinished, and you had a question about the stack pipe. I put the stack pipe through because I got a metal roof,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get it through. There's not going to be an apartment up there. I don't know who said that, but that's never going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to probably in the long run of things, I'll probably insulate it. I'll never rock it, so it'll be finished, ever.
Yeah.
But the house is rocked, the electrical and the plumbing's done. I can use a toilet and a shower. The sink is in Advantech, you know.
I'm trying to remember, because I mean, I'm going from memory. You saw it.
I didn't go inside.
Didn't go inside either,
We don't
but
base it on that anyway.
you know, it was Cape style or something.
It's
was
a
it?
cave.
Yeah, that's what I
Less
remember.
than 1,400.
So that's what's throwing me
No.
off right now is the 125,000,
Yeah.
which Sue's going to look back at our notes, because when we go around, I mean, you were one of many that we did that day,
I understand.
and so we wrote notes. I want to see, because I had handed those in to her,
Sure.
just what our notes were, because I don't remember hitting that at 80% would be 125. You know, so we may be willing to do some adjustment there.
that's
Yeah.
great. you
Okay.
know. I'm not asking
I just be
for
able to-
miracles, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. It's a camp, and it's probably gonna stay a camp, because I gotta do other things at my
We're working on
property.
re-looking at all the waterfront.
Excuse me.
Whether I
That's
have
another-
time to
that's
look at
another-
Spalding, I don't know.
That's another question I got for after,
This is
you know,
the permit and everything. I don't have that other,
Okay. And I'll have to look,
yeah, we gotta look.
because I would have called that, I mean, going from memory, but, see, our problem is, here's the issue, I guess you wanna say. I know what you're saying, you got into it,
me?
but I mean, when you go out and buy all this material, you know, you nail two bites together, all of a sudden they increase in value because you nailed them together. You know, that's why it's structured. You can put a bunch of lumber outside here, but you put it into a building.
so, you know, yeah, you
It's
do
more
a deck,
valuable.
a deck, for instance, you know, the deck is worth more.
Yeah.
I get it. you
So,
know?
so that's part of it, but then we have certain categories in town. Again, whether I like them or not, that's what we live in, is, you know, small ranch, small cape, big cape. And so everybody kind of gets graded on the curve when you do assessing. So you have to fit into one of those categories somewhere.
Okay.
What I just checked with Sue, you were placed under a code other. I don't remember having that conversation, so I just want to see our paperwork, how that got done.
Sure.
Because otherwise you should be, in my opinion, you were a cape. I would probably have called it a small cape,
It is.
you know, and that would have put you at 100% finished at 128,000, because that's what every other small cape in town is being hit at, it's 128. So this is what I'm thinking. If we called it 80%, because Paul Philbrook and I were there April 1st, which is the day we're supposed to be assessing, and you were to be 128,000 finished, done 100%, then times 0.8 should have put your assessment at 102,400, 102,400, not 125. You know, so that's the one discrepancy I'm looking at from our point of view, from my point of view, is that maybe you were over-assessed this year,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
You got some of it there? I'd have to
Take your time.
Yes,
you know,
excuse
I-
me.
no hurry.
Excuse me.
I appreciate you taking the time and hearing me out.
I don't remember off the top. Okay, that's Paul's right.
No, that's
We
mine.
all worry
Oh,
about
that's
it.
yours. Okay.
What
Okay,
happened
yeah,
to
so
Paul? He
okay,
was
so
a
you had
nice
it
guy.
85, but then you're saying 80?
And Paul Neto ran against him in the election on June 9th, and Paul won the seat. So
And there was a lady that keeps leaving me
Oh, I think maybe
paperwork.
we changed it
She
to 80
lives on
because
next
I
to
couldn't put
Spalding.
in
I forget
that
her name. She's a
125.8.
selectman now, I think. Or,
no, these are
It
your
had to
three
be
selectmen here.
125 in
Oh,
that spot
I forget
because
her name. She was like maybe a little younger than me,
It was at 77.
50-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
Karina.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
would
she
you
didn't
call it?
get in.
What was that?
No,
It is a
no, she
cape,
didn't.
small
She never
cape, large
makes it.
cape.
No?
No.
I mean, you remember
No,
seeing
she
it?
hasn't.
Or do you want to go look at it again?
There might even be pictures in here. I don't
She
know.
really,
I
she
call it
tries to.
small.
Yeah, she does. It just doesn't happen, but she does. She's out there all the time.
For now.
Small.
I mean, if we get through and redo waterfront, we're looking at all that all over again anyway.
Yep.
Buildings and stuff like that. So we have to kind of fit you into a category that's already existing until we come through and sweep through all of Spalding Pond. I'm not sure that will be next year. We're working right now on the big lake, you know, and that's quite an
When you
undertaking.
do the lakes, I don't mean to jump off this
Sure, that's
subject,
fine. Yeah.
but on the lakefront, you know, I'm just trying to figure that out because you've got Milton 3 ponds
Correct. Yeah.
and you've got Great East and all that, and I'm trying to figure out where my little lake would fit in.
Great East is
So
in
all
Acton,
this-
but yeah, you do have Northeast Pond. You got Townhouse. You got Milton Pond. So,
So
those are
there's
three
gotta be
ponds.
different echelons of lakes,
Correct.
right, that are better than others? Cause I've got
Because
where,
Spalding, you're not out there running, water skiing, and you don't have the ability to do
yes.
all of that. I get
Yes,
it.
yeah. And the fact that it's becoming milfoil infested.
Yep.
And I try to talk to both sides of the
Well, it
states
is, yeah.
to, it's bad. I talked to New Hampshire about it, I talked to Maine about it. And they just can't get in sync because it's a borderline.
Yeah.
Borderline,
Yeah.
and New Hampshire wants to hit it with chemicals, and Maine doesn't. So it's like, on my particular property, it's kind of a peninsula, and I got 100 feet of lake, and I got 100 feet of milfoil infested swamp. So I'm trying to figure out if that's gonna be an equation in my reassessment.
What, if we do front footage, this is basically what we've been looking at, you know, the value on waterfront is your front footage. You know, on a normal lot, it would be your square footage, which comes out to acreage.
Yes.
But on waterfront, how much, you know, if you have 500 feet on the water, you know, all sandy
But
beach.
does it depend on the water?
Yes,
Okay.
and how that all works doesn't matter where you're at, whether it's Milton Pond, whether it's, you know, whatever pond you're on.
So like Milton, if it's all swamp, they don't get charged as much?
It would be dependent on current sales, you know, your most recent sales.
Gotcha.
So, you know, obviously up on Northeast, their sales are going to be higher than Spalding.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we base it off from on that point.
Okay, so there's a formula.
Yep, because building for building throughout the town, you know, let's just say you have a small cape. So I got to look at every other small cape out there, plus my sales data. Okay, building for building for the most part, because we're not going inside. You know, we're not looking at granite countertops versus, you know, something else yet. I can extract your building right off of your property because this building over here and this building over here and this building over here are going to be compatible. So now I'm going to look at what did these sell for versus what would, you know, what are recent sales on Spalding,
Gotcha.
and that will give me my land value.
Okay, all right.
There's a formula to it.
Okay, I see.
Um,
Because I'm afraid I'm just gonna get kicked in the teeth when that gets reassessed.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to pull that off for next year or not. I mean, just the big lakes right now there's a lot of work there to do
I
still.
could imagine. And Salmon Falls goes all the way, right? So, you know, that'd probably be, you have to look at that too.
Don't
River-
have to
the
because
river.
it's river frontage. We
Oh,
can
river's-
separate it.
River's different.
We can separate it out.
I see.
Does it have additional value? Yeah, possibly. Somebody likes to kayak or something like that, or go down and
River's
fish.
worth more than lake.
Not necessarily over lake, but over a normal house, you know, that doesn't have any water frontage to it.
Yes.
But that could be looked at totally separate, and I know I, for one, am not ready to tackle all of that, you know, just get through the main lakes right now, and just, the biggest part is being able to prove what we have for assessments out there. And I'll be the first one to say right out loud, I don't like, you know, little ranch, big ranch. You don't even have square footages attached to them.
Exactly. 'Cause
It's
I was wondering the
crazy.
square footage rule, but there isn't one. Is there gonna be?
I'd rather, we could, you know, maybe, I'd rather fix it, you know.
What do you mean?
Well, there's different ways to do the assessments, and big this, small that's not the way to do it.
Sure.
You can do it for square footage if we wanted to somewhere down the road, just to make it, because he might disagree what's small, I might disagree what's small.
Sure.
If you put square footages on it, hey, it's black and white,
Exactly.
you know, so that would be a Band-Aid. That would be a Band-Aid fix, you know. But as far as your water frontage, I'm more than happy to look at it, discuss it. You've seen it. We both agree that you haven't seen it yet. Do you want to go see it? Okay. So let's take some time, allow Paul Netto here to catch up, and if you don't mind, we'll drive down, take a look at it.
You're free to come down anytime.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. It's
I don't know, have you filled out, looks like you have an abatement sheet there, did you
I
fill
do, but
that?
I talked to my lawyer about it, and he said just to come down and talk to you guys and see, you know, if we could fix it without going through all this. you
That
know?
still is a good idea, because
Is it?
it also gives you all your legal rights. It puts us on a time schedule. I mean, I'm gonna follow through, you know what I'm saying? But once you put that in our lap, we have 30 days to respond to that. So you put us on a
I didn't
time
even know
clock.
that there was instructions in the back. I was trying to figure it out.
It also allows you your appeals process too. So, you know, if we make a decision and you still aren't happy with that decision, you've started the ball rolling with that, and
Does that go to Superior or something?
it would go to the county commissioners, so that's your
Okay.
first right of appeal, and then to the Superior Court, if you're not happy with their decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, preserves your rights.
I don't really want to go that far. I figured I'd come down and try to talk and try to figure it out. I gotta, you know, it's a glorified shell right now. And that's where it's gonna stay until I retire. And then I'll put the money in when I sell my primary. But I gotta focus on my primary now. I got things I gotta do there.
Because we're not going inside, because we're not, I mean, so you invited us in that day, I know you did.
Yeah, you could come in.
We can come in and look, but you got your occupancy, and so the way we have to assess you the way we're assessing everybody else. So I could come in and look,
Yeah.
And you could have granite countertops, you could have gold on the walls, you could have silver baseboards, you know what I mean? And we can't count that against you. We can't take into consideration what you have, because we're not doing it every place else. So it has to be
Okay.
equality.
Yeah, yeah, so it's even if maybe I should have waited to get my occupancy, but I figured I'd get it, you know, because,
Then you're allowed to live in it, stay there overnight.
well, it's just dealing with the inspectors, you never know who you're gonna get, you know, like with, when I had Paul, he told me, you know, you gotta do handrails, you gotta do this and that, and the new inspector said, you know, it's gotta be closed up, so I plywooded it. And then when I said, when you're out of here, plywood's coming off, it's 2x4s again. And that's how it is. There's no banister. I don't ever see a banister in maybe 5 or 10 years. It's 2x4, you know, coming down. But I figured I would do it because when I talked to, I don't know who it was, maybe another Paul that was the inspector that sat in for a while.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
from Acton, yep.
Yeah, he just seemed like, you know, just talking to him, like I talked to him before I even built. And it just seemed that he was gonna be tough. So I figured I'd strike while the iron's hot. Oh, I didn't have to deal with him, I'm glad, because I probably wouldn't have gotten occupancy till next year.
Okay. So, but just to give you that heads up, if we all agree, we'll go out and take a peek at it, or you can, or whatever, but
Well,
bring him up
outside
to date. If he,
Outside is done.
yeah, if he agrees that it's a small cape,
Yeah,
you know, you got the two bay garage, so we already know what that is. Then you're gonna be looking at, a full 100% valuation of 128,000 on the house.
That's when it's done though, right?
It is done with the occupancy permit, so I'm, you know, come April 1st, you're gonna come up to that 100%. Again, because we're not
even
going
if there's no
inside.
floors, doors,
I don't go inside, so unfortunately we don't look at that.
but if I did an appeal process, then you'd have to go inside, right?
No,
No?
because we don't do anybody else inside yet. We should eventually, but that's
Yeah.
not how we do it, you know, that's in town, overall.
Okay.
So if the outside looks like that's done, you're assuming that the inside is.
That's what you'd have to do in town, the way things are set up right now. Yep.
Don't finish the outside.
Yeah.
Finish the
No, but
inside.
the outside is.
It has nothing to do with that,
The
actually.
outside
yes.
is, the outside's done because I wanted to get it watertight.
Yeah, right,
So that's where I
exactly.
focused all the energy.
Save
was
money
to-
that way,
To get it tight, cause it's a good thing because of last winter too,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely.
We had snow coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would recommend you put that in front of us officially, and then we can answer you back with that abatement request as well.
But as far as paying my taxes, I should pay them before the 15th, before this, cause this is gonna take you time.
Could take us past that, and if we do go past that, I'm not saying that we would, but if we did, you'd be charged interest. So
So I should.
I can't tell you one way or the other, but
Just like on the last abatement that I had, you cut me back $200 on this one for last year. Because from my perspective, the last year of taxes, you've gone up $800, and all that's changed is a garage. So I'm getting $800 for a garage that I see, you know, from between
you gave us
this
quite a
one-
list that day, though,
this
April
one
1st.
and this one.
You gave Paul Philbrook and myself quite a list of things that you had done, had finished off at the time.
I did the electrical,
Yep.
and the electrical's done, and the garage.
And the countertops, I thought, if I remember correctly, did you have those
Got
at
the
that time?
Vantech countertops.
But they weren't done the year before, right? Those were done recently?
They've never been done.
Oh.
It's plywood countertops
Okay.
with the
can't
trailer
remember.
sink.
Okay.
So I can show you pictures in I didn't bring the phone in, but for a kitchen, I've got plywood and the old trailer sink. And I got the old refrigerator and the old stove out of the trailer. And in the bathroom,
Yep.
same thing, plywood and the sink I ripped out of the trailer.
As we go through and going sweeping down through the waterfront, one of the things we're trying to look at and trying to make some decisions on is instead of doing this big house, small house baloney, basing it off square footage. The state of Maine puts out an appraisal manual that they put out. Basically, I'm trying to think now. Just drew a blank. Major company, I can't think who it is now, that does cost assessing across the whole country.
Do you need to be licensed to do assessing?
You don't in the state of Maine if you're a selectman and assessor at the same time. I am a certified Maine assessor though, so I
So you have a license?
I have my certification.
Okay.
You don't have to be, so therefore the whole board is sworn in assessors. Currently.
Probably under your license.
Nope, you don't have to be at all if there's selectman and assessor, and you haven't appointed another assessor, you know, so. If you have a full-time assessor in the town, they would have to be certified.
So getting back to the $800 increase, because the biggest thing is the garage. Everything else in the house has been the same,
Yeah.
except for the electrical.
I don't know about that. I don't know $800 is, on the taxes itself, you mean?
Yeah, the taxes went up 800.
Because your assessment was at 77,000, and then you went to, so they went 800 this year is what you're talking about?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and that's where I think we can probably do something there.
It was $864 it went up
Yeah,
since last year.
yeah.
And the only thing really different is a garage.
Because you were at 50% and you jumped to 80% finished.
I don't
We had you
know.
in the
I
system
think-
at 50
Okay, all right. Yeah.
from the year before, when you and Paul went out. It was at 50. It was that
Maybe I
right there.
should have
right.
just kept it without an occupancy for another 5 or 10 years. Cause I could have done that, you know? That's what the original inspector told me. He said you could just keep renewing them, but I figured to just save myself the $40 to renew them because nobody has renewed an occupancy. I think I was the first one. People, no, nobody's ever renewed the permit. People just move in and never get an occupancy.
Yeah, and
But
then
I
that
was
gets
told,
messy.
I was told not to do that.
Well, yeah, because I mean that gets messy. Because then your neighbors are complaining that you're sleeping in there, or somebody alerts somebody, you know, codes, and then codes ends up taking that person to court, and it gets messy. And that's not, you know. So you did the right thing.
Just for
I know what you're
insurance
saying.
reasons,
Yeah.
you know, if something ever happened, insurance companies are always looking to back out, you
Yeah.
know.
So, but let us go look at it. Like I say, I don't know what do you have there. Have you signed it and followed through with all the information that you need?
No, I think I still gotta do some more. I was asking the ladies at the desk about it, and, what I'll do is I'll just read the back, and, I'll just sign it. I think if I was gonna say, you know, maybe to split the difference in the $860, you know?
Well, it has to be based off the just value. You know, it's,
Yeah.
we can't look at it from, you know, split the tax or something like that. We have to look at what the value of it is. We can go look at it because I know Paul hasn't seen it yet. We can do that on our end of it, but I can't do anything else without that abatement request.
So I need to do this. Okay. So maybe I'll just do this before I leave.
It would probably be a good idea.
Then you guys got it.
Yep, yep, and then we'll see what you're requesting, because it'll ask you on there, you know, what your current valuation is. I don't know how far you've gotten down
I
through
really
that.
wouldn't know unless I had,
It's
you know, another assessor come in and assess it. You know, that'd be the only really way to know. That way they could, you know, it would be yours and theirs, and then I could judge, because all I have is yours,
Yep. Yeah.
right?
Well, you have what the value was that currently, you would need that on there, that's line 6, I'm thinking, going from memory. And then it asks you, what are you requesting for an abatement, you know, what amount.
See, I've never done any of this stuff.
Sure. Sue definitely can walk you through it, help you through it. I'm more than happy to as well, but we do have a full agenda, but I know she's gonna come in here, she has a couple things for us to sign, but I'm sure she's well versed in that.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely, if you have a couple minutes.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do that, and, I can't think of anything else. I had some questions here that I wrote down. The other thing too is there is no basement, and it's on a slab. Did you know that?
I figured as much out there on the
Okay.
peninsula.
All right, yeah. And, it's under 1,400 square feet, and it's really a camp. In hindsight, I may have, when I did it, may have just maybe put another trailer back, cause all the assessments on the trailers went down.
All right.
Mine went up.
Did yours go up?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
And it's an old timer, it's nothing, you know, before that I had a new one,
yeah,
and, you know, it was on my own land at the other place. And I did the same thing here, but I got a second-hand one because prices jumped, but God knows, for this thing, I don't know why it jumped. If, it's like, what the heck? But I was surprised,
It's
because
tough,
it went up
you know, 'cause you, as you get
115
older,
or 20
you,
for a half year.
you wanna fix your house up,
Yeah.
but I see it all the time where the taxes keep going up and they drive the old
They chew
people
ya.
out of their houses.
Yeah, they chew you right up.
You know?
Yeah,
It's just, it's ridiculous.
it's rough.
you know?
Are you calling her old? No, I'm just kidding.
Old girl. All right.
That's a
Um,
gracious statement.
Well, you know, a lot of my friends never made it, so it's kind of an honor to be able to get older. You know,
Yeah,
like my
thank
brother died on me, a
Wow.
couple years back.
My brother did too, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean.
Oh, actually, he was really young when,
So I get Sue in here and.
Yep.
15 years ago.
Can you go grab her? See if she's right. I don't
On
hear
the
her.
gentle grabbing, okay?
Thank you.
Is she right here?
She should be. She might be out the other way. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was surprised to see mine go up.
Yeah.
Something.
Did your assessment go up or your tax go up?
The tax went up.
Because the mill rate changed, but is the
Well-
assessment the same?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think that went up, but I could be wrong. I've got it hanging on my refrigerator so I never forget it. It's like,
What do you base
jeez.
value on the mobile homes?
The 25.
Yeah, I don't
That
know
may be
what
what's
you
going
had,
on.
but I'm happy to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
I just told her, but she was busy,
Okay.
you know.
Well, she's busy, then I got time if you want. I can walk you down through that.
Sure, sure.
abatement.
That would be great. You know, I can get this to you and
There's a decision you'll have to make, but I mean,
you know,
number 5 is a blank, because you're not in here requesting, personal property, so that
do
doesn't
you
apply.
wanna fill it out?
I can't, no, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you have, if you want, next to the 173,
Yes.
you wanna break that down to, 42,000 for land, 131 building.
42K.
Yep, land, and then right below it, if you wanna put 131K for building. Yep, and then you can just draw a line through line 5, cause you're not gonna do anything there with personal property, yep. Then this is asking you what you would like to drop that down by, so.
What, I wouldn't even have a number, I don't know, unless I had somebody.
You can leave
professional
that,
come in,
yeah,
you know?
I mean, you can leave that if you want,
It was at what was it? It was at
you were at, 77,000.
77, now I'm at 130.
Yep.
So I would say maybe 105. I mean, I've got less than 100 for sure into it,
Okay, so
So
you wanna
maybe
drop
I-
it down to 105 is your request?
Yeah.
So you wanna drop it from so hold on, you wanna go 131 minus 105, so then 26,000 is your difference.
So I would write that in 6.
26,000 was your request, yep. That's how that would work.
Okay. The abatement request in personal property. You
0, we're not doing
0.
that. Yeah. You're not doing that.
And the reasons would be.
Yeah, then you have to put your reasons why you're requesting the
I
abatement.
just wrote, it's around 1,300 square feet, no basement, inside floors, doors, kitchen,
Bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
bath,
All at the same time.
And you,
incomplete. And all of these, from what I understand, you don't need permits for floors and doors and all that, so.
And then that's basically all you need right there, just date it and sign it, and that way you
Today's the
preserve your.
5th today?
Yep.
And then what about the back? That's up to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest of us, we'll go through and make a decision. If you want, just hand that right to
Could you burn
Sue.
me a copy of that?
Sure.
Please?
I can
And
still-
then I'll leave you guys, I'm sorry,
You
what?
said burn it?
Yeah, that's what it says on the
Up in
computer,
smoke.
to burn, you know, please don't
Remember
burn
it,
it.
right?
But it's just good to keep, you know, you
Oh,
need
yeah.
everything in writing nowadays.
Sure do.
What we'll do is, figure out a time when Paul can get over there and look at that. We'll discuss it.
Alright.
Probably find some time
I'm gonna
Thursday.
go look at it tomorrow morning.
So we can probably discuss it Thursday. You're gonna be in Thursday? No. You can still,
And talk.
yeah.
You got a dog, bring your dog down if you want,
Before.
just let her run around.
To be right in your lap. Big black dog.
But we'll get an answer back for you, you know, and send you out a letter or whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody's time.
Yep.
And I never did it before, I didn't mean any disrespect
No,
or
absolutely
anything,
not.
I just
You have
trying
every
to
right to
figure it out, I just, trying to save some money and eventually it'll get done nice, but it's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
what-
and you're welcome to come in if you want.
Thank you, Gary.
Appreciate it.
See
Thank
ya.
you, sir.
Good seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you.